everyone, yes, another motherboard coming from MSI. This time round will be the Pro B840 P Wi-Fi. I'm going one tier down. It's just that I want to experience what B840 series can do. And with this said, I'd like to thank MSI to have provided this board for me to share with everyone, and to Gobel to have done the arrangement on the delivery. Now, why am I stepping down? As you might be curious, why can't I just do higher tier boards like, you know, the Extreme board or etc., or maybe the Ace? To be honest with you, I find it more challenging to explore entry-level boards and lower tier boards, as I want to see what are the capabilities of what the board can do. Can it drive a high-end processor and such? And in general, right, to most of us who is purchasing a board, right, we just want the board to run as it is and the feature sets that we will make use of, instead of spending like 700 USD or 800 USD on a motherboard, which I find that not appropriate if you do not use the functions. Like some of my comment, the PC builders have asked me this question: hey Cleo, can I just work with a GPU and a Gen 5 M.2 on a higher tier board, which is probably the Extreme, the Ace and such? For me, it's like, if you are not using the rest of the feature set, right, why don't you save up that amount, get a probably a mid-tier or maybe an entry level board, get better graphic cards or better M.2s, or I mean capacity, or better RAMs. So these are my take, and I got to be honest with you, I'm so sorry, it might offend some of the PC builders. Do not purchase a board just based on aesthetic and based on the latest and greatest and the highest, but yet you don't even know how to use it. It's like, yeah, you might say that you can overclock it and such. True enough, there are some experts over there, but how many of you out there are doing that? In fact, I find that nowadays processor, right, instead of overclocking it, you should undervolt it, because undervolting, right, can help you to, you know, have the system perform better and to lower down the temperature. And things like feature sets, right, some of them don't even use it. Like total of 5 M.2s or 4 M.2s, you only populate 2. And things like the rear I/O, where you have the USB 4.0 port, you don't even have the device that has a transfer rate of 40 gig, and yet you're plugging in that. And yeah, true enough, you can use the DP odd mode to project out to portable screen, which I find that, do you really use that? Probably you'll be using your graphic card more than using the integrated graphic, right? Well, those are just my thoughts about the high-end boards. But nevertheless, the the budget is yours. If you have the budget to purchase that, go ahead. But majority of us, I should say, including myself, we just want a board to run, plus the feature set that is catered to our needs, sufficient to our needs, and that's it. Alright, I'm just going to relax myself and to do the unboxing and such, different from my normal motherboard review. So this board does come with an antenna, nice, and I believe this antenna are magnetic on the base. Yep, that's right. Then the motherboard itself, it's new. Okay. Let me just flip it. Wow, a very executive look. I like the squareness on the VRM heatsink, the M.2 and the chipset. It's very business-like. Okay, put this one side. These are the accessories, where you have the quick installation guide, the regulatory notice, one set of SATA cable, this is right angle, 2 M.2 standoffs, as you can see, and to mount this, you are provided with this tool. That's all you have in the package. When I unpacked this, I thought this is a eATX motherboard. I was wrong. In fact, it's a 6-layer PCB and a ATX form factor motherboard, and has a measurement of 244 by 305 mm. As for the thickness of the rear VRM heatsink. This is measured at 40mm. The design of the motherboard is very simple. Some of you might like it, some of you might not like it. Based on the fact it's all very rectangular and squarish, and it doesn't have ARGB effects. They have designed in a very unique way to dissipate heat. Starting off with the VRM heatsink, take a look. All these fins, right, are flat plate, protruding out. This will definitely dissipate sufficient heat off from the motherboard. As for the M.2, as you can see over here, right, you can just remove this by pressing the back latch or button, pull it out. It's just a very simple piece of aluminium. Oh, by the way, these are all aluminium. This is sufficient to cool down a Gen 4 M.2. As for the chipset, again, squarish and flat plate. See, having a very unique design. Take a look. Again, you will dissipate heat a lot. Now, coming to the power face of the motherboard. This is 7 plus 2 plus 1 and has a ATM choke. At the center is the 1718 socket, which cater for 9000, 8000 and 7000 AMD processor. At the lower section, you have 4 DIMM slot, which is cater for DDR5, and it runs in dual channel. Has a max capacity of 256 gig with Expo overclock profile of 8000. Again, as a reminder, please do not take it as in like you populate all the slot with 256 gig and you can perform 8000 megahertz. Okay, that's not true. There are plenty of PCIe slot, but none of this run on Gen 5, even the top slot. But best thing is that all these slots does not have lane sharing. Starting off with the top slot, this is where you plug your GPU. It's Gen 4 running at a speed of X16. The rest of the slot over here are Gen 3. Now, all running at X1 speed except for the fourth slot, which is X4. Now, I'm only referring to if you are plugging in a 7000 or 9000 series processor. All the specifications which I read to you are as mentioned. But if you are plugging in a 8000 series, kindly take note. Look at my left hand top where it shows you the description. Take note on the PCIe lane. It might not run at X16. Instead, it might run at X8 or X4. Okay, only if you are plugging in a 8000 series processor. Next, you have two M.2 slot. These two are Gen 4 and is running off from the processor, and both have the speed of X4. Again, if you are running a 8000 series processor, kindly take a look at my top left. The second M.2 slot will run on X2. Now, earlier on, as I show you the M.2 slot the armor shield or the heatsink, to remove this, right? Okay, let me just zoom in. Press the back and to leave it up. Okay, and this has a swivel point to lock your M.2. And once you have placed that in place, right, make sure you remove off the top sticker where you have the thermal pad. Place this, okay, the notch is over here to here. Align it and press it down. Next will be the PCIe slot. A very simple function. So when you plug your GPU, right, this will lock in place. And MSI have extended this latch with this, so you can have easy access to press it. Once you press it, it will remain released, and you can have both hands holding on to the graphic card and to pull it out. For the onboard audio, this board makes use of the Realtek ALC 897, and it supports 7.1 channel surround sound and of high definition. Now, from the top where you see the M.2, there are some pins over here. This is meant for your TPM module. On my left, this is meant for your front headphone and microphone jack, followed by a legacy 12V RGB header, and this is often used for your fans and your strip in modern builds, which is the 3-pin 5V ARGB connector. Now over here, this is meant for your internal speaker, whereby in the past we have this small speaker we connect to this, and this is where it indicates the errors and such, because back then there isn't any debug LEDs, so we make use of this internal speakers where it does beeping. So things like errors like not able to project through the HDMI port or such, right, this will beep. For example, 3 long beeps or 3 short beeps, things like that. Right at the top, this is the chassis intrusion pin, a legacy CONT port pin, the J-1 and the JDP1. These pins are meant for advanced user, whereby you have a device to connect to this, to do or to check error postcode on that device, or to configure besides using the UEFI, but we don't use this at all. Next, you have 2 USB 2.0 pin, followed by a 4-pin PWM fan connector which says system fan 3. Next, another 3-pin 5V ARGB header. Now, I need to zoom this in so that you can see what's going on. Now, for this 2-pin, right, at the bottom, this is the safe boot pin. In the event if you can't boot up your system in UEFI or got freeze and such, right, you can short this pin and to reset your system, and you will set it by default on your UEFI and to boot into UEFI. And right at the top, this is the clear CMOS button. Also, in the event if you can't do clear CMOS, right, this safe boot will help you. Next, you have the front header, whereby you connect your power switch, your reset switch, your power LED, and your reset your hard disk LED. Now, moving to the front, you have a front 3.0 Type A socket, which provide 2 Type A port at your front I/O. Total of 4 SATA port. Now, this 4 SATA port is not controlled by the chipset. It's controlled by the processor. And again, no lane sharing. If you populate 2 M.2, right, together with this, right, total you can handle 6 devices, or should I say storage devices. Next, you have the Type-C port, whereby it is cater 5 gig transfer rate, which is for your front Type-C port. Next will be a 24-pin socket for you to pull power from your PSU to plug to here and to power up the rest of the components on your motherboard. Total of 3 fan headers over here, which are PWM. Earlier on, I said that is actually system fan 3. So we have system fan 1, 2, and 4. Oh, I always forget this. There is a EZdebug LED code over here. So any point in time when you boot it up, besides the RAM training cycle, right, if you boot up normal and it does indicate some errors, right, this will light up. Now at the top, 2 more PWM fan headers, where one is CPU underscore fan and the other pump underscore system 1. Now at all times, if you are using liquid AIO or custom water loop pump, right, make sure you connect that pump header or connector to this pump, which is in white. Reason being, right, this gives plenty of amperage so that your pump will run consistent. And also, as a tip, if you are running AIO or a custom water loop pump, make sure your pump runs consistently. Do not set it to PWM. Reason being, right, if you were to determine the pump to run according to the temperature, right, your pump will go up and down, up and down, up and down. Fluctuation, that will hurt your pump. So I would to advise you to run either 100% full, as in like consistent, or 80% of whatever the pump max speed is. So make sure you connect this, connect that to the pump connector over here. Next, as I mentioned, the CPU underscore fan. Well, if you're running off a liquid AIO, the radiator fans, or if you're running air cooler, the air cooler fans, make sure you plug that to here and not some other place else, because this is the master plug to control that. Okay. Next, you have the 8-pin EPS connector. Now, it's very strange that they have plugged it over here instead of the rear. I guess it's because of the space, but anyway, it only caters for one 8-pin EPS, which is sufficient enough to drive your processor and to pull the current from your VRM. For the rear I/O connectivity, starting off with this 2 button on my left. At the top, this is the clear CMOS button. At the bottom is the BIOS flashback button. Yes, you can update the BIOS without plugging into your processor nor your RAMs. Just make use of this. And the port to use for the BIOS firmware is this port over here. Next, you have the HDMI port, whereby it's version 2.1 supporting 4K 60Hz, and this is making use of the integrated graphic on your processor. Your given total of 7 USB Type A port to me is sufficient. The black ones are version 2.0, the blue ones are version 3.2 generation 1, and has a transfer rate of 5 gig. Else the only red port is generation 2, which has a transfer rate of 10 gig. Right at the bottom, you have a USB Type C port, which has a transfer rate of 10 gig. This is the 2.5 gig RJ45 socket, which is for your wired internet connection, and this is the Wi-Fi 7 socket, and it does support Bluetooth. You have a simple layout of the audio, whereby you have line in, the line out for your speaker, and the microphone in. Now, as for the socket of the Wi-Fi 7, as mentioned to you, most modern MSI board, they come with the Wi-Fi antenna with this kind of plug. So you don't have to screw in, you just plug it in. See, it's quite simple. See, this is done. If you want to unplug it, just pull it out. It's simple action. Now, another thing I need to emphasize is that I like how they design the buttons on the clear CMOS and the BIOS flashback. So imagine that this is facing at the back, where you place this in, where you place your motherboard in the case. So you need to reach out to press the CMOS button. Instead of turning the whole case right towards the front, you can just reach out to the back and to touch it. See, this button over here, right, is protruding out. You can feel it, so you don't have the accidental of pressing the BIOS flashback button. This is my second favorite part of a motherboard open view. I get to test the internet connection on their network adapters, be it the wired 2.5 gig NIC or the Wi-Fi adapter. Having said this, right, on all X870, X870E and B850, or even this, the B840 series motherboard from MSI, they have made use of a very strong Wi-Fi adapter, which is the CONT Fast Connect 7800. This is a true 320 MHz bandwidth kind of adapter. As compared to the rest of the other brands, right, they've tested, they are making use of the MediaTek, whereby it's a 160 MHz bandwidth channel. So this 320 bandwidth channel, right, enable me to draw much more data. Okay, let me just show you. I'm gonna enable this. Now, what do I mean by that? For those MediaTek adapters, right, the max that I can gain, okay, from my internet connection is up to 1.6. Not as if that, you know, my Wi-Fi 7 cannot cater more than that, right? So it just happened that that Wi-Fi adapter, or should I say those Wi-Fi adapter that is having 160 MHz bandwidth channel, right, I can get up to the max speed of 1.6. That's it, not more than that. Else, when using this, right, the Conslusion Fast Connect 7800 at a 320 MHz channel, take a look what I can do. Now, this is based here in Singapore, so I just run. Good ping rate. See, take a look. It jumps more than 1.6 gig. In fact, it's almost 3 gig. Okay, 2.8 gig, 2.7, 2.8 gig. This is download. And I believe the upload is identical, maybe slightly lower. Oh, even better. See, I can get this speed on this network adapter that is having 320 MHz bandwidth channel. Okay, I can switch this. Instead of using Singapore, probably I go further away. I'll just use this 196 miles and run. Hopefully that this data center do provide 2 gig. Oh, it does. See, it went 2.3, 2.4. Okay, this is overseas away from my country, and hopefully the upload is about the same. Okay, not so much on, oh, it does. See, it does pick up due to the ping time. Let's run again. Now let's see the download and upload. As you can see, it's consistent. So this is actually what I meant by MSI truly making use of a very good network adapter. Okay, this is a drop. No worries. Let's just rerun again. Oh, let's just rerun again. Oh, probably I should run a different location. Okay, let's just do Maxis 169 miles to another server, maybe a much more stable server. Okay, ping rate is 12. See, at any point in time, right, you're able to click any of the other countries that support this kind of bandwidth, as in like 2 gig, 5 gig. On my network adapter, I have no problem receiving at a high data rate or high transfer data rate. See? So this is something which is very fantastic. Now, I will disable this and to enable my wired adapter. And let's see how this fares. Okay, it's connected. Alright, this is based here in Singapore again. 2.5 gig. See, consistently 2.3, 2.4, not an issue. And you might be wondering, hey Cleo, the Wi-Fi is even stronger than the 2.5 gig. Yes, that's right. So you can use the Wi-Fi even better than the wired, which is okay. It's kind of like silly, but yeah, this is what it shows. Now I'm just going to go to other telecoms. Okay, probably I'll just do DG Malaysia and test it out. See, it's about 2 gig plus, and so this does match the 2.5 gig wired adapter. And you have also witnessed the Wi-Fi is even better than the wired. So I would say that, yeah, a very nice set of network adapters that what this board has provided. Now I'm just going to share with you the RAM training timing. If you are moving platform from Intel to AM5, or if you are migrating from AM4 to AM5, this is what is expected. The first time when you boot up the system, after you have pieced up all the components, it will take a long period of time to boot to UEFI, and this is normal. Based on the fact what the motherboard is doing, right, is to verify your RAMs, porting the JLAG profile to the system. So as mentioned, this is only for the very first time. Looking on my top left, you will see this black box over here. This in fact is connected to this motherboard, and it will show you the UEFI when it's booted up. And over here there's a stopwatch. This is whereby when I press start, you will witness that how long it takes. So here we go. Now at this period of time, do not touch the system. It might stay on the debug LED for some time. Just do not touch it. Do not reboot. Do not clear CMOS and such. Just let it run. Because if you keep on doing that, right, you will damage the board. So as you can see right now, the debug LED is gone. So it's verifying the RAMs. You will see some activity on the debug LED. So at this period of time, right, probably you can actually go have a cup of coffee and such. It's all up to you. Then when you come back, right, hopefully that you will be booted up. Now as you can see, my stopwatch, it's 40 seconds and it's still not booting up. It should boot up in no time right now. See? Okay, I'll let it run. It takes about 52 to 53 seconds to boot up. And once this is done, right, your RAMs are being verified. Now I'm just going to turn it off and to boot up again. For the next time when you boot up from cold boot or even restart from Windows, right, it will be very fast. Okay, right now I'm just going to turn it off. As you can see, my VRM will stop. Okay, this is off. And I'm just going to reset the stopwatch. Now here we go again. So as mentioned, right, once your RAMs are being verified by your motherboard, next time when you reboot or even doing a cold start, it will boot up very fast. See, it's booted up. And it takes about 14 seconds. Before I share with you my thoughts about this MSI Pro B840 P Wi-Fi motherboard, I'd like to thank every one of you to stay throughout the content of this motherboard. And I also have to apologize for your time, that some of you might expected that this board is able to perform, as in like to undervolt or to overclock. I have to apologize to you guys because this board is not able to do so. And that will be shown on my UEFI where I explain things. So if you are still interested to know why it's not able to do so, you can check right after what I commented about this board. It's at the end, so you will get a better caption of why this board is not able to do undervolt or to do overclocking. Now with this say, right, this board itself, who is it for? Well, if you are just wanting a very decent board, doesn't really break the bank, this is the board for you. Or even for light content creation. The design of this board is very simple, but to me it's elegant, based on the fact that I like squarish design, simple pattern, as you can see, not overly aggressive. It looks professional, or should I say, probably due to my age, that's the reason why I like things that are mature. And best part, no ARGB stuff on the board, as again, my own opinion, ARGB is nothing but a nuisance to me, based on the fact that it's so glaring to the eye, and also drawing current for other purposes, like you can actually draw the current to provide much more stability to the component of the motherboard, and also second fact that it generates heat. So to me, ARGB is a no-go. But if you are just like me, right, like something simple, right, this will be it for you. And best part is that all the M.2 and PCIe slot, they don't have share lanes, except for the fourth PCIe slot, which will drop the lane speed, which is from X4 to X2 if you populate the SATA port. Besides this, right, there are also other things like for content creators, right. As mentioned, this is a decent motherboard, but don't expect it to have high transfer rate and such, and you will need to route to the back to reach for the type C over here, which has a 10 gig NIC, or should I say, sorry, 10 gig transfer rate, as compared to the front, which is 5 gig transfer rate. Other than that, I have nothing much about this board, but maybe some of you just like me, I was expecting that I'm able to do much more with an entry board. I was slightly disappointed, to be honest with you, which I will explain on my UEFI section. But nevertheless, as mentioned, if you're not expecting anything, just wanted to spend something decent and to plug and play, right, this will be the board for you. With this said, I'd like to thank MSI to have provided this board for me to share with everyone, and to Cobell to done the arrangement on the delivery. For those of you actually new to my channel, welcome to my channel. And if you like my content, do remember to subscribe and to click on the notification bell button. Now, on with the BIOS, or should I say the UEFI. Alright, just gonna go a brief run through on the UEFI. This is the easy interface, and if you want to toggle to advanced, just press to F7 and it will take you to the advanced where you have more settings to do. Now back to the easy mode. You can see all the top buttons over here, where the first one where you want to upgrade your BIOS in UEFI, you can make use of this function. Next will be the hardware monitor, whereby you can also press F5 key for this function. It will take you to where you configure your fans. You can do it point to point, or you can make use of the graph. Yep, over here. Okay, I'm not going to go into it, just to show you the interface. As what I meant by point to point, you can set it, probably I would say, let's say you set 70 degree, then how much you want your fan to pump, probably 80% I guess. Then you can just continue to do the rest. Right, probably I would say 60 degrees Celsius, set it to 60. And the last one, you can set it to 50 degrees Celsius and to run at 40. Now all this percentage is meant for you to run your fans. And will show you the temperature on an instant, on your CPU, on your motherboard, on your MOSFET and such. All are very healthy, and these are the voltages that what the system is pulling, just to give you a rough gauge. Now followed by this profile. If you have done all the settings over here, right, you want to save in the profile, you can just click here and you can save. Either F9 to save it to all this profile over here, or you can load the profile. Next you have the favorite, which I will touch on later. Now this is the BIOS log, whereby what you have done, right, it will show you. See, these are things that I've done. Then the help is all the shortkeys, like what to press for easy mode, advanced mode and such. Then you have the language mode, whereby, not say language mode, you can set the languages that you wanted to see. For example, Chinese. See, all this will be in Chinese. So just going to set this back to English. For search, for example, you want to do a specific function. You know that your board has that function. You can just key in and to find out. Okay, for example, I put overclock. See, it will just show you in an instant. Now snapshot is to take the screen of this UEFI. You can do the snapshot, or you can press F12, but make sure you have some, you have a USB thumb drive plugged to your motherboard, because it will save to your USB thumb drive. Exit, I don't have to mention. Now over here, right, you'll see that you have the CPU boost, MP. Now this two, right, on this board, I can't toggle, especially the creation boost. It will be grayed out. The only thing you can set is the expo profile, as you can see here. See, you can set the standard expo, and over here is showing you the motherboard, the BIOS version, the date built on the BIOS and such. The rest of this are all the information, and these are the storage priority, or should I say what you have plugged on the system itself. Right now I only have one M.2, so it shows at the M.2 slot. And the fan profile, now I do have a pump running. In fact, this liquid freezer 2, right, the pump does not have a reading, it's normal, so it just shows my radiator fans. And of course, as mentioned to you, right, at the top you can click on hardware monitor or press F5, or you can click on this scale button. See, now forget to mention on the DRAMs itself, right, where you show your RAMs is populated, right, you also can do the settings over here. Oh no, not setting, this is to show you what are the JDAC that you have. See what you have populated and such. At the lower left, we can see this. Now this is boot priority. Take for example, right now I have a thumb drive, I have a M.2. You want to boot it on M.2, you just leave it. If you want boot it to USB, you just drag this and this will boot as the first priority. So this is actually what you meant. It's just a simple drag and drop. Heading on to the advanced mode. Now, this is where the intensive settings are. First of all, you'll be shown with this text over here. You can change the time date. Okay. Oh, forget to mention, on EZmode itself, if you want to set the time and date, right, you have to click on the lower right hand corner. Okay, so take note on this. So these are the stats that you will see and such. Then followed by, under advanced mode, you have all this just to show you. PCIe subsystem settings, these are meant for you to enable your resizable bar on your discrete graphic card, or you can set the mode, the gen mode on your M.2. Okay, your PCIe and such. ACPI settings just to show you. You can set CPU overtime alert. Right now it's auto. You can set it to enable or disable. So at the point of time, if your system runs too hot, your motherboard will warn you. Integrated terahertz. This is just a bit true. You can set enable, auto, etc. And this is where I will often use on the onboard audio. I will disable it. Now, based on the fact that I'm using a audio interface, by disabling things that you do not need when you're using the system, right, it will speed up the boot process. Integrated graphics configuration, just to show you. Yep, you can set whether you want to run and to detect your integrated before it goes to your discrete graphic card, or you can totally bypass or shut down the integrated and to use the discrete graphic card. USB configuration, this I'll leave it. Super IO configuration, I wouldn't have a clue what this is. Oh, this is the CONT port, which we don't use. Power management setup, these are the power saving mode that you can set. For BIOS UEFI or CSM, right, just leave it as UEFI, based on the fact that for modern processor and such, right, we just make use of UEFI. Wake up on event setup. Well, for this, right, I will enable the PCIe device. As again, I mentioned many times, based on the fact that I program my smartphone to trigger the power button up, and make sure that you have the wired LAN cable, right, connected to your PC, else this will not work. Click BIOS configuration. Okay, these are the settings. By the way, if you want advanced mode, right, you can set which page you want to see first. Okay. Then you have the secure erase. This is meant for you to erase your M.2. But I will not advise to use this, as I believe a lot have have listened to me saying that, you know, I have screwed up my M.2 based on the fact that I used the UEFI to do the secure erase. Make sure you make use of your M.2 application in Windows to do this. It's a much safer way. MSI driver utility installer. This is meant when you did a fresh installation of Windows, and when you boot up, right, it will prompt you to install drivers, which is meant for your chipset, your RJ45 LAN card, or even your Wi-Fi adapters and such. Then this is the NVMe self-test. You can use this and to test. Test your M.2. Now, coming to the AMD overclocking. Okay, the thing is that it does not have precision boost overdrive, and you can only set this to enable, which is for your RAMs, and for eco mode, right, there isn't any. I've tested on both 9950X and 9950X3D. You can't trigger this at all. Okay, so sad to say, can't overclock, can't undervote. Even, okay, next is the overclocking. Now, even come to the overclocking, okay, as you can see here. Yes, you can set your PBO2 sorry, you can set your expo profile, which you can see here, and to set the RAM timing, or should I say the frequency, the U clock equal to memory clock 1:1 ratio, and also to set the tight timing for your RAMs, which is over here. See, I've set this to the tightest, and also to do the offset. See, I've done the offset for the vCore. But the problem is, again, no PBO2 configuration. If I go to advanced CPU configuration, right, by right, there should be precision boost overdrive. I can't. So I've also tried heading to the AMD CBS to configure, let's see, this system management unit, whereby by right the 9950X you can run at I'll set it, man. Okay, probably I won't do this. I will do this. See, configuration, back to the overclocking configuration, right? Before I go to AMD CBS, right, you can take a look. The configured TDP, right, is max up to 105 watt. That's all. You can't go anything more. And these are the PBO settings. Oops. Okay, probably I'll use this another mouse. See, the PPT, EDC, and TDC. I mean, sorry, the PPT, TDC, and EDC, right, is locked. You can't go any further. Which sad to say that I can't trigger this 9950X to the max. So just to show you, right now I'm just going to select this. Okay, maybe I set to auto. And if I have to configure over here at the ABN, sorry, at the AMD CBS, you have to set this, right, manual. Oops. And to set this at 200 watt, okay, PVT, I'll set it to manual again, which I know for 9950X, right, is 200 watt. Thermal throttle control, I will set it to 95 watt. TDC control, which is at, let's see, 160 ampere. Then EDC control is at 225 ampere. See, I've set all this. So right now, if I am going to save this, right, okay, take an example what happened here if I have to save it. Okay, alright, and I'm to reboot. Oops, did I save it? Hang on, let me double check. No, not here. Oh, this. Yep, all set properly. Now, if I'm to save this, take a look what happened. Gonna take some time to load to UEFI. Now, as you can see, I have set the settings, and right now, if I want to go back, oh, it's there. Okay, anyway, all this setting I reset your weakness. So if I am going to exit and to load to Windows, let me just show you. The thing is that it will not trigger above 200 watt, or should I say above 142 watts, which I will show you in a minute. Okay, loading into Windows. Okay. Okay, if you take a closer look, right, probably I'll just minimize this. When I click on the processor on hardware info, take a look at the TDP. It's set to this max. It can't go any further. And with this configuration over here, see, it doesn't unlock more than that. And when I run Cinebench, okay, as you can see right now, I'm running. And if I have to run this, okay, see all this over here. Now if I let it run, yes, it does take up the boost and such. Okay, just to show you, probably I would just quit this, launch this again, but this time on sensor mode. Okay, take a look at this and look at the clock speed. This is by default. I can't do any PVO2 settings at all, and you run like this. It does boost up to 5.7, which is meant for this processor and such. But if I'm going to run the Cinebench, right, okay, probably I would just run this first, showing you the Ryzen Master. See, on Ryzen Master, right, it doesn't show you the PVO2 and such. No configuration, not even the, okay, not even showing you the CCD1 and CCD2 stuff. As you can see over here, see, by right you have the CCD and CCD, sorry, CCD0 and CCD1 frequency, but it doesn't. And look at the BBT, it doesn't go beyond 142. It will stay at 142. You have seen what I've set in UEFI, but it doesn't work. And as I run this, right, okay, probably I would just do this for 10 minutes. Take a look at the stats over here. Oops. It's not even running 4 gig or 4.8 or 4 point something. And look at the PVT and TDC. I am running, okay? See? It does boost, but only a few cores. So this board itself doesn't really take to the advantage. Alright, now just going to bring you back to the UEFI interface. Back to the UEFI. Now as mentioned to you, right, when I configure at the advanced configuration under ABD CBS, okay, you have saw me setting all this, but it just not able to take in. So this motherboard in fact is locked. That's the reason why. Alright, anyway, back to where I was for overclocking, right? Though you can't set the PVO2, you still can set your DRAMs and such. See? Which I already shown you earlier. So this is the overclocking settings. Now for security, you can set a security password if you do not want your sibling to touch your UEFI. I mean, as in like you share this system with your siblings, but you don't want them to touch. So when they want to get into UEFI, right, they'll be prompted with a password. Then as for secure boot, alright, the rest I will not talk about it. Okay, I will talk about important ones. Whereas for secure boot, right, when you're playing Valorant, make sure you set this secure boot mode to custom. Okay, this will allow you to play Valorant. And in the event if you leave it as custom and you wanted to do a fresh installation of Windows, right, make sure you come back to this UEFI to set it to custom, standard, and back to Windows, then shut down the machine and to do a fresh installation of Windows. If not, if you leave this at custom, right, okay, sorry, if you leave this at custom, right, you're gonna have a hard time installing Windows on your M.2. So take note on this. Then besides this, you have the boot. Now these are the standard things that I believe you guys will understand. Come to the boot priority. As mentioned to you, you can make use of here, okay, and to switch. See, take a look at this boot option 1 and 2, where I have my USB and my M.2. Okay, the first right now is USB. So if I were to do this right at the bottom, see, it changes. Now become the boot priority as hard drive. Of course, you can use this drop down to select. See, it's the same. But I find that this function at the bottom is easier. Now, last but not least, save and exit. This I don't have to mention much. It's all self-explained.